peeps, welcome to another video. Today it is my December lookbook and I got 12 things sewn in December, which, is that right? Yes, 12 things sewn in December, which I think isn't too bad given that I also made 3 books with mum for the first couple of days, and I did stop sewing on the 20th of December so that I had time to film all my end of year videos like this one. So the first thing we'll talk about is what I'm wearing. This is the McCalls, get this number right, 7659 top. Now I was convinced that I was going to like this version with the V cut out at the front, and I'm not sure that I do. I'm just not sure about it. I hate the facings. I have tried to make the facings not roll out. I've done everything that you're meant to do. I've stay stitched, I've understitched, I've pressed, and they kind of still are just rolling out, and I'm wondering if it's because they're not quite under tension enough. What I've actually done is taken the collar off, put the front bits like a ½ inch further up into the collar to try and make it sit a little flatter, and that's definitely helped. But I'm thinking if I do make this version again, I will take a wedge of about 3/4 of an inch out of this front piece here, because whilst the length on me is correct, I added an inch of length as I always do, I do think this part isn't quite right. But this is supposed to be for a sew along. It was voted for by the Patreon peeps and I like it, but I don't love it, and I was convinced that I was never going to make the fully covered up version, but I actually think I'm going to go back, trace out that bodice piece and try it, because I think I might prefer it. The other thing is the sleeves on this one are very fitted at the top and then belt out into kind of lantern sleeves or bishop sleeves at the bottom, which is okay, but I prefer a little bit more range of movement, and I also prefer my sleeves to be a bit bigger at the top, so I think I may change that. Although these do fit well and fit nicely around there, they're just a little bit restrictive. It's a nice top. The pattern would have me put a lot more ease in at the waist, and no, I did a size 14 for the bust and the hips, and I've done a size 10 for the waist because I wanted it to skim my curves rather than just hang straight up and down from my bust. I have found in the past that if I make tops that hang straight from my bust down, I don't like how they look on me and I don't wear them. So I knew I wanted to add shaping into this one. Lots of the peeps were saying when I featured it in one of the waffles that I should try and elongate it into a dress, and you're not wrong. I do think that could look really nice. I don't know that I'm enough in love with this pattern to try it, but I am going to go back and try fully lining this particular bodice and then also the covered up one, because this is meant to be a sew along. As I say, the Patreon peeps voted for this pattern. As it stands, I don't want to put the sew along out. A few of you were saying that I should just put the sew along out as is, but I'm not happy with the end result, and I don't want to put something half-assed out into the world. It's just, I wouldn't be happy with that. So I am going to try and make this work for me a couple more times. It didn't take very long to make, so that's why I'm willing to put the time in. But yeah, I'm trying to make this work for me a couple more times to see if I can get it into a top that I like, because below the bust and the sleeves I really like. It's just this bit that's kind of throwing me off. And also I've had to ladder stitch this closed by about 2 inches. I think you can still just about see my bra because of the angle I'm filming at. But yeah, it was very booby right from the get-go. So yeah, there's a different way that I would like to construct the front of this bodice as well. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board on this one. I think this will survive in my wardrobe. I think I will try and wear this out because I really like this fabric, which, I mean, it's a good job because I have a lot of it. But yeah, not 100% sure that this is a winner as yet, but definitely not a huge fail either. It's definitely a wearable muslin. Let's leave it there. Next up we have one of the first things I got made this December, which is my Now and Then beach pajamas. Now it might seem really daft to me making what is essentially a summer outfit in viscose challis in the middle of winter, but I plan on wearing this on Christmas Day. I love these. These are super comfortable. The ties at the waist make them adjustable, so once I've had my Christmas dinner, which I'm so looking forward to, roasted chicken, so yeah, once I've had my Christmas dinner I will be able to loosen the ties if need be. I can also put a cardigan over the top of this, but I will be in a nice toasty warm flat with a cat and a Wilson, and we are going to be sitting on the sofa and playing either board games or computer games all day. So we're not going anywhere, we don't need to leave the house. So these actually to me seem like the perfect Christmas Day outfit, because it looks like I've made an effort, because I have, but it's also secret pajamas because it's actually pajamas. So yeah, this is my Christmas outfit. Love these. There's the sew along for this. This is the third pair that I've made. There will be more next summer. 100% love them. Next up we have the McCalls 7131 trousers in the Linen Chambray Savannah from Lady Macaw. Shocking. I think I've told you guys before, when I planned the Savannah capsule collection, it was meant to be my August, September into October sewing plans, and I actually didn't start it till October. So a lot of the things that I wanted to make, like the beach pajamas and these trousers, were completely inappropriate. But I thought that if I don't do them now when I'm in Savannah mode, then they won't get done, because I have so many plans for next year. I've already put collections aside. I know what I want to sew next year, and I thought if I don't get this done, then they won't get done, and the Savannah will just go back into a cubby hole and sit there for a very long time. I'm really glad that I've got these sewn up. I made a pair last month in November of, they were khaki coloured crepe, viscose crepe, to check the fit, because I've made these before many moons ago, and I needed to tweak a few things like the crotch depth and the size of the waist. I have fixed all of the issues that I had with it with those green ones, and these are awesome. They are so comfortable. I love the elasticated back, which is something that I never thought I would say, but I do really like the elasticated back on these. They are very comfortable. The fabric's lovely. It's a nice weight for trousers because it's lightweight, but it still has some kind of heft to it, so they drape really nicely. I have foliage canopy print on this base, which I'll definitely be making into these trousers as well. So yeah, really happy with these. Very much like these. The 7131 pattern was a pattern swap present from Karen. It was the main part of that present because she knew that I would love those trousers, so thank you, Karen. I definitely do. It may have taken me sort of 5 years to get to the point where I'm actually really happy with a pair of them, but I do love them. You were right. As I've mentioned, I want to sew in collections next year, which meant that I was kind of reorganizing my stash a little bit and getting the fabrics out from the different types of fabric, because I have had it stored in all the viscoses together, the cotton lawns together, the jerseys together, etc. So I was getting out fabrics to put them into collections regardless of base. I had 3 lengths of scuba, and as you guys know, I have a lot of scuba dresses. It's sort of my uniform in the winter. They're my own mini personal sauna suits. I love how they feel. I just really enjoy wearing them. They've got the factor, so you know, they feel really supportive, they're warm, and scuba comes in so many beautiful prints. Loads of people have been asking what I mean by scuba. It's not like neoprene wetsuit fabric, although you can get that and sew with that, and it does look amazing. It's much softer and thinner than that. Some people have compared it to crimpline. It's a polyester stable knit, although it does have enough stretch in it that I never need to put a zipper in any of my dresses. In fact, the 7892 or 8972, sorry, the Vogue dress that I'll show you in a second, I've omitted, it was a woven pattern and Mum wanted to make it in a scuba, so we've tweaked it so that it works for a knit fabric. I omit the zip and the back seams of that pattern because I just don't need it with the stretch from the scuba. So in my stash I had 3 lengths. This was a scuba crepe that I got from Fabric Styles. So this one does have some texture to it. Most scuba feels smooth. This one feels like a crepe, hence the name. I had 2 meters of it, and I think I bought the 2 meters because I was just like, I love the print, I will find something to do with it. And it's been in my stash for the longest time. So I have finally made it into a half circle skirt because I didn't have enough for any of the dresses that I like. I love how this looks. It's really pretty. I do have some left over, but that has gone into the to be made into bikinis and swimsuit stash because that scuba is good for that as well. I've made 7 bikinis from it, worn them on 2 holidays. They didn't disintegrate and they didn't go see-through, so you know, that's good to know. It was a chlorinated pool, just that was why I was worried about the disintegration. Yeah, really happy with this half circle skirt, and really happy to have these 3 lengths of scuba out of my stash because they do take up a lot of room. It's quite a chunky fabric. Next we have a mystery scuba. Now I didn't buy this. I'm sure I didn't buy this. I had 2.5 meters of it and I've made a Vogue 9199 out of it. And I love it. I'm pretty sure I didn't buy this fabric. I think it was a gift and I think it was from Rachel, but I'm not 100% sure. Rachel doesn't remember sending it to me and also asked that I perhaps send it back to her because it was clearly sent to me in error. I'm afraid I actually made it into a dress. I'm sorry. I really, really, really love this. It's, again, one of the 2 dresses that I particularly get drawn to when I'm making scuba dresses. As I say, I had 2.5 meters of this, so I couldn't quite get the 8972. But the 9199, if you're careful with your cutting, you can get a full-length scuba dress out of this. As you can see from the pattern, it's meant to be a high-low hem, but I evened the hem out. I really, really like this. Again, it's another nice one to wear in the winter. I have a range of cardigans that Mum's knit for me, all cropped, loads of different colours, and they all kind of work. I can wear the red one, I can wear the green one, I can wear my cream ones with this, and they all work and look great. So this is, again, another part of my sort of winter uniform, as it were. Really happy with this. And then my final scuba dress is my turtle dress. I do have a turtle, yes. It's got seahorses, parrot and hummingbirds on it, as well as the flowers and leaves. It's beautiful. This fabric, I believe, came from Colville Fabrics, and Cara from So So Mad was sent it in error. She hadn't ordered it. It arrived. She showed it in one of her fabric hauls. It was just like, you know, it's not really me, if anybody would like it. And I immediately snapped her hand off. I was just like, yes, I shall pay you for that. Please take my money. And she did. So she sent it to me, and it's been, I had 3 meters and it's been sitting in my stash for the longest time. And as I mentioned, scuba is a fairly chunky fabric, so I decided that I would get my scubas sewn up this month so that I don't have any left in my stash. Although the very lovely Nimue has sent me 3 meters of another print because it was just too beautiful to not buy. She bought me the gift voucher for it for Christmas, so thank you, Nimue. Unfortunately, I ordered the one print that they didn't have in stock, and it's taking a longer time for them to restock than they thought. So I don't know when it's going to turn up, but it will turn up. She said, the lady said, hopefully before Christmas, so fingers crossed. So I will have one more scuba in my stash, but I'm going to make that up pretty quickly as well because I only wear these dresses in winter, and as I say, the fabric itself is fairly chunky, so I don't want it put into my stash because there isn't really room. I've been whittling down my stash and trying not to buy too much more fabric, and when I do, I've been replacing the fabric with patterns to make sure that I don't buy more fabric. So yeah, there isn't really room for more scuba. This is the Vogue 8972. It could be 8974. No, 8972. I got it right the first time. I, as I mentioned, love this dress. I have 15 of them now. Mum decided she wanted to make it in scuba, so we set about turning it into working for a knit fabric. I have a sew along for this. It will be linked up there and down below as well. Yeah, really, really like this dress. We'll be wearing this frequently over the coming months when it's still chilly. Next up, we have a McCalls 8167 dress with the 7537 sleeves smooshed on, and then also a ruffle smooshed onto the bottom, a fabric tie made from the same fabric as well. This was voted for by the Patreon Peeps. It's meant to look like a Peter Pilotto dress, which I actually do think it does. Do you think it does? Is that English? You get what I mean. I think it does look like the Peter Pilotto dress in the silhouette. Obviously the print and the sleeves are completely wrong, but I wanted to be able to wear it now, and that's why I put on long sleeves. Now I love this belted. I think it's gorgeous. I will wear a variety of belts with this. I'm very happy that I also made this fabric belt from the same fabric as well, from the little bit that I had left over. I got this out of 3 meters of fabric. I have done a sew along for this, which will be coming out soon. The facing is a nightmare. Facing's I just don't get on with facings, and I promise I do all the things that I'm meant to. I promise I stay stitch my necklines. I promise I understitch my facings. I press everything the way I'm meant to, and they still, I tack them down, and I've got 4 points to tack it down because they've got the shoulder seams, the center front seam and the center back seam for this dress to tack those facings down to, and they still roll out. So I actually went through and did some decorative top stitching, which I've also mirrored on the hem of the ruffle, and I really like how that looks, and it has made the world of difference to the facing on this dress. I don't like this dress without definition at the waist. I feel like it looks like a Victorian nightgown, and there's nothing wrong with that. And again, if that's the kind of style that you enjoy wearing, this is the dress for you. But for me, without the cinching, it wouldn't be something that I would ever pick up to wear, which is why I've made the belt and then tried it on with a whole bunch of different belts and different outfits, and I have worn this and I do like it. In fact, I like it enough that I am going to make more when I go up to London for Christmas afterwards. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but my very wonderful boyfriend bought a flat on the Goldhawk Road, so the fabric shops are literally outside my front door. So I'm going to go on the hunt for some navy floral fabric, very much like the Peter Pilotto fabric, which I think, actually looking at it and the way that that dress is draping, is probably like a cotton lawn or something. Unfortunately the listing is no longer available. That sold out, the dress sold out ages ago. But yeah, I'm going to go and have a look for a similar type of fabric so that I can recreate the Peter Pilotto dress a little bit more accurately. But this was my wearable muslin and I'm really glad that I made it because I love it, and also it's a solid colour and I love it. Look at all the print behind me, but yeah, solid colour and I do love it. So very, very happy with this one. Sew Along will be coming soon. Next up, you're not seeing triple. I bought 9 meters of this fabric for this experiment and I had enough left over to cut the wearable muslin for this top out of. We have here the McCalls 7974 dress in the size that they tell me that I should make on the envelope and the size that I think I should make, judging by the finished garment measurements. When I made this dress originally, because this is the 4th and 5th that I've made of this dress now. When I made this dress originally, I complained that it was incredibly cleavage-tastic, and also I hated the way that they wanted me to construct it. So I did a sew along for this dress last year or the year before. When I had fully lined the bodice, much preferred the construction methods, purely and simply because I do not like overlocking the inside of woven dresses, and that's again just my preference. The actual construction method worked, it just didn't give me the finish that I wanted on the inside, and again that's a personal preference for me. So I have done the sew along for the sleeveless bodice and the short sleeve bodice, and I said how cleavage-tastic it was, and I'd raised the neckline up by ½ an inch, then 1.5 inches, and this time I've raised it up by 3 inches, and this is the perfect one for me. However, I got a lot of people telling me I should have made the dress the size that the envelope told me to, because it wouldn't be so cleavage-tastic then. It would have looked like the envelope illustration example garment on the envelope, which just made me think, no, I'm not, I mean, I'm no expert at sewing. As I've mentioned many times, I am self-taught and I've had no formal training, so I don't know if any of the things that I do are right, but the things that I do work for me and give me end results that I enjoy. So that's what I have been trying to kind of do on this channel, is sort of show you that if I can do it, anyone can do it, and this is how I do the thing. So yeah, I thought, you know what, like, no, I don't think this dress being cleavage-tastic on me has anything to do with me sewing the size that I think that the model is wearing. I think it's just the type of dress that it is. And again, if you like those cleavage-tastic dresses that you wear plunge bras with, fine, but I prefer balconette bras, as you can probably see from today. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make the size that the envelope says that I should. I'm going to do it in calico, and I'm going to show those people that know the size that the envelope tells me to make is not the size, or is not the shape, or not the fit that I like. And then it kind of morphed from there, because I thought, you know what, if I do it in calico, that's not really going to show the actual difference, because I've made all these dresses in cotton lawns or viscoses, which are drapey. And so I set about looking for an inexpensive fabric that I liked, because I wanted a dress that I liked out of this, that I could get 9 meters of, so I could make the size that the envelope told me to, and then the size that I think I should make. I'm going to be doing a totally separate video on this, so I probably ought not to rant about this too much in this particular video, but I love this dress. I feel very frumpy in this dress, very frumpy in this dress. Thankfully, this dress actually fits Mum, and it fits her really well, so much so that I've given her this dress and the pattern that I've traced from it. We need to do a few tweaks. The shoulders are still too big on this one for Mum, but other than that, it fits her pretty well, and she likes it as well, which is great. And I really like how this one has turned out. I think this one is gorgeous. I will wear this one. I have smooshed on the sleeves from the 7537 with a continuous lap and a button cuff, because I wanted to see how I liked that, and I love it. Really glad that I've done that. This was a really weird week making 3 garments from this fabric. It was strange. It was very strange, but hopefully it's illustrated the point that the pattern envelope is not going to necessarily be your friend when you come to make a garment, and you really need to kind of have a look at the finished garment measurements, and then you kind of need to understand the type of clothing that you like to wear and the type of ease that you enjoy in your clothing to get something that fits you the way that you want it to. Again, I'm going to be going into way more detail with this when I make this video, but the pattern envelopes are basically lying to us, and we need them to be more transparent. We need more information from the pattern companies to tell us the finished garment measurements and the amount of ease that they've put onto the model, the dress that the model's wearing. I in no way think that they make the dresses for the models. I think they make up a standard size 8, for example, and then stick it on a model that it fits onto. What I want is the size that the model's wearing and her measurements and the amount of ease that they've put in it, because there is absolutely zero chance that this is what they intended with that dress on the envelope. But again, I'm gonna properly talk about this in this video, but I made 2 of the same dress in 2 days. I made the big one first because I knew if I made the small one first and I liked it, there was absolutely zero chance that I was going to want to make the big one. I have also made 2 shoulder dragons. I am going to be spending Christmas with Wilson, and he has 2 little nieces. I don't know if we're going to get to see them, but I have made them both shoulder dragons. One is meant to look like Bruni from Frozen 2, because the eldest little girl is obsessed with Frozen, and last time I saw her she was dressed as Elsa. So yes, she shall now have little shoulder dragon Bruni to go with. Then I did a green corduroy and bright pink one for the younger of the 2. I have no idea if she's going to like it. I'm going to have no idea if their parents are going to be willing to let them play with it. I have used safety eyes, I have used correct toy stuffing so that it is fire retardant and also washable. Lots of people were saying that I should have just bought a pillow and stuffed it with that. If they were slightly older, then I might have done that, but I just wanted to make sure that I was like covering all my bases, because young kids are going to play with these things, possibly. Hopefully. I'm a little bit worried that I've ladder stitched on the head and the tail spikes, but I've done that as thoroughly and as you know, securely as I possibly can. They're currently wrapped. I didn't think this through. I wrapped them yesterday, so that's why I'm not showing them to you. But yes, I have 2 little shoulder dragons that are going up to London with me on Friday for hopefully 2 little girls that will love them. Fingers crossed. And then the final garment that I've made this year is the 94th thing I made this year. I completely fluffed it up in the vlog the other day, but yes, I made the McCalls 7537 with the ruffle on it, with the rouleau loops and the eyelets. The original sleeves, these are the sleeves that I smoosh onto everything, but this time I put on a tiered and gathered skirt. I promised you guys a tutorial for how to do a tiered and gathered skirt, and I did start one. I made this exact same dress with the Savannah Viscose crepe, this one back here. I fluffed up when I was making the tiers, the gathering stitches in the tiers, and I didn't want to show you the wrong way to do it, or it's not the wrong way, it's just it's not the way that I would usually have done it, and I only realised halfway through and it was like, oh damn it. So I needed to make a dress again that I was going to put a tiered and gathered skirt onto. I dug this fabric out. We've agreed, I think, that this is a teal bottley green colour, kind of bluey but also kind of greeny, so it was one of those ones that kind of didn't go in any particular category in my stash. I had 5 meters of it, and I've used all 5 meters in this dress. I actually put 10 panels into the skirt rather than the usual 8 that I do, but the tutorial will be the same regardless. So I love this. I absolutely love this. I'm so glad that the last dress that I made this year was this much of a success. I think it's gorgeous. I fully lined the bodice on this one because I didn't want to have to hand turn under the edge of this facing piece and hand stitch it down like I did with my Savannah one. It was much easier and much quicker, because I was trying to get these dresses, all these dresses back here, done in a day. This one did take me 2 days. My cold, or mum and dad's cold, caught up with me on that last day, and I finished this off with the Peeps in the hangout. But I absolutely love how this turned out. I think it's gorgeous. So pleased. I'm going to wear this on Friday to travel down to London. As I say, if we're allowed to, we are going to see Wilson's brother, sister-in-law and his 2 little girls for Christmas Eve. It's a tradition in their family. If we are allowed to, depending on obviously restrictions, we will be playing it by ear, but that is the plan, and I want to wear this just in case we're going out, because I'm getting the 10:13 train from the local village, and I have literally got like minutes when I get there to basically make sure Tiana's settled, get the presents out, and then we're leaving. if we're allowed to go, and I'm going to stress that again, we're only going to go and see them if we are allowed to. So yeah, this is what I'm hopefully going to be wearing on Friday. But yeah, that's the last thing that I made in December, and the last thing that I made this year. It is the 21st of December. I could totally have carried on. I actually have 4 more dresses cut out that I was hoping to get to, but yeah, time got away from me. I wanted to stop so that I could film all of these videos, so I could get these up and have things ready for when I am up in London at Wilson's and having some time off. So the next couple of days is going to be major filming and editing. It'll be fine. I keep saying that to myself, but yeah, I'm very pleased with everything that I got done in December. The only thing that I didn't sew that I said that I was going to is Wilson's hoodie. It's the 9020 pattern, Ron Collins pattern. I didn't measure Wilson before I left the last time I saw him, and I still have the sleeve pattern from when I stole one of his jackets to replace broken sleeves on it for his Christmas present 2 years ago. And I thought, you know what, as long as I get the arm length right, it'll be fine. And then I've decided that actually I want to measure him before I embark on making something for him, because I really want him to want to wear it and to like it, and if it's ill-fitting then he won't. So I thought that what I would do is buy him Christmas presents for this year, and then I'm going to take a tape measure with me. I'm going to measure him and I am going to make it for him for Valentine's Day. So yeah, when I did my December plans, in fact my December plans were I'm going to make a whole bunch of trousers and I'm going to get all that done, and that all went out the window. As you can tell, I kind of decided that I'm in the middle of losing weight. I have officially lost a stone, which is amazing. I would like to lose a little bit more, so I just thought, you know what, fitting trousers to myself at my current size is a stupid idea because they won't fit in a couple of months. And I have decided that I'm going to give myself, I think, till the end of February. Whatever size I am at the end of February, that's when trouser fitting is going to start. So there will be trouser fitting next year, just didn't happen this month. But I'm very pleased with the stuff that I did get done. And I did make a pair of trousers. They're just super wide legged and yeah, totally didn't need fitting other than at the waist, but it's fine. Let me know in the comments down below which is your favourite. What do you think? I have tried a few different styles, but yes, majority of them are fit and flare dresses with leaves on them, because I've definitely found a style and print palette, shall we say, that I love. So yeah, very happy with these. But let me know in the comments down below which is your favourite. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!